Good morning. Y'all can hear me? Perfect. I was raised in Flint, Michigan. I lived in the projects, then I moved to a house. My house was next to the crack house, and across the street was the drug dealer's house. My house was brown and white. Their house was red and white. This is how bad it was. The addicts would knock on our door at night thinking it was the drug house. So my mom painted our house yellow and black like a bumblebee so that the addicts would not get confused, waking her up, making her mad because she's an insomniac. As a young adolescent girl, it was nothing for me to see in my neighborhood a dead body, SWAT, drugs, vicious dogs, or even a man in his KKK uniform. So my mama, she didn't trust anybody. And that's what I learned from my mama. Don't trust anybody. When I moved to Phoenix with my 3 good-looking children, twin daughters and my son, let me tell you about my 3 lovelies. Diamond socializes with everyone. Victoria, she talks with her hands. And Joshua is my teacher of patience. I am a teacher. I had middle school and high school children. They needed to be somewhere. I needed them to be somewhere. Where can they go? They can't go to daycare. Who do I trust? I found out about the Boys and Girls Club. I sent them to the Boys and Girls Club. But not because I trusted the Boys and Girls Club. I needed the Boys and Girls Club. Besides, it was $15 per teen. I could afford $45 for the whole year for my 3 children to be away from me, 5 minutes from my job. The months went on. And how do I say this? They wouldn't let me pass the double doors. I struggled. I could not see what was going on. I couldn't see where they were or who they were with. I had to sit out in the lobby and wait for my children to come out. The struggle was real. Please understand, I went to every Baltz School District Board meeting for the Parsons Boys and Girls Club branch before it was built and after it was built. So I formally met John, the unit director, at a school board meeting. He's a white man with black hair. And where I come from, we don't trust white people. So the months went on, and I'm picking up my children. I'm still being visual. I'm still being verbal. And guess what? They offered me a job. They asked me would I drive children on field trips. They had gotten to know me. They trusted me. So I was like, bet I get to go in here and see what's going on. They offered me a job. I'm in, I'm so in. So I go in to have my driver's training. John has to do my driver's training. So he has to take me out into this tight space. I passed the test. So John takes me into this amazing smoothie place called Nectar, a place I still love. I ordered a pink flamingo. John ordered a mango delight. So while we're waiting on our order, we're having this conversation. Then John started telling me stuff about himself. And I'm like, why he telling me this? But then I realized he wasn't trying to trick me. He was building a relationship with me. Because I trusted John, I no longer was preventing my children from the opportunities that the Boys and Girls Club has to offer. As a parent, it is hard, it's challenging and chaotic to be able to afford and access all the opportunities that are available for our children. But there's one thing that I knew, that I was leaving my children with people who cared about them and who genuinely had their best interest at heart. So let me tell you about my children. Diamond, the first Youth of the Year for the Parsons branch, the first to receive a $100,000 scholarship full ride to school. She is at 21 graduating with 2 bachelor's degrees and a fluent Italian speaker, reader, and writer. My daughter Victoria, she participated in everything the Boys and Girls Club had to offer. Not only is she very creative and excellent at ping pong, but at 21, she is also graduating college as a sign language interpreter who can read and interpret Braille. My son Joshua, yes. My son Joshua, he is the Parsons Branch first male Youth of the Year. And with all his disabilities of autism, a writing disability, a speech disfluency, and an average IQ of 130, he went from refusing to do anything to being a leader and a mentor. He also attended the Grammy camp. You know, the people who produce the Grammys. He now composes his own music with no formal composing music training other than the Grammy camp. All of my children have over 400 hours of volunteer services and participated in the leadership and training program, and they have made friends in other clubs. From me being able because I was able to trust John, and John got me to trust the Boys and Girls Club. This is what we accomplished. We have broken the cycle of poverty for my children, my kids. And that is why the Boys and Girls Club is our home away from home. Understand, my children go nowhere besides home, school, and the Boys and Girls Club. It is a part of our family. It is a part of our lives. And John will tell you, he is my brother from another mother. Thank you.
I warned you. Yeah. Oh. So what some of you may not know is that Tiffany is also one of the most popular school teachers at the local Brunson Lee Elementary School. And in the summers, she still works at Boys and Girls Club and oversees our swimming program because she won't trust anyone else to watch the kids in the pool, and she helps teach them to swim. She's truly a force of nature, and it is really our partnership with parents like Tiffany that we can move that needle and change that cycle, as she talked about. Thanks again, Tiffany, for sharing your comments. So I know we are working to get you out of here quickly, so we are going to move forward, but we have one more special presenter for you, so we appreciate your patience today. And to close our program, we really wanted one of our Connect volunteers to join us and share the alumni perspective. So David Casanova came to the Valley years ago and jumped right into supporting the clubs that meant so much to him as a youth. And there's a very special reason why. So please join me in welcoming David Casanova.
So much. Thank you. Good morning. So in 1995, my mother moved my sister Jahida and I to Bristol, Connecticut. She had to make the tough decision of leaving her family and homeland in Puerto Rico so we'd have a chance to start over. Uprooted us from everything we knew. Domestic violence is like that. So we moved to the projects in Bristol called Cambridge Park. I vividly remember having to clear needles and baggies from our front yard just so we could play a little football. I still remember my friends' parents picking me up for baseball practice but I'd have to wait by the front entrance, by the big tree, because they were too afraid to come inside. It's funny looking back on it now, grown adults, too afraid to come in, yet there's chubby little David waiting by the tree. I quickly learned that in Cambridge Park, everyone knew each other. I was a new kid, and a few fights later, I realized I was a little different. I liked school. I really liked school. I was a bit of a science buff, and you can ask the many bugs that ended up under my microscope. I wasn't like everyone else. I wasn't that tough kid from the streets, but I had to be tough. Most of these differences stem from the way my mother raised me. I couldn't speak the slang. I couldn't say yo. And I definitely couldn't wear my pants low. And what's a kid to do in the 90s, right? So that, I felt confused, right? I didn't feel like me. I was too white for my brown friends and too brown for my white friends. Where did I belong? Who should I be? That all changed when I met the smooth-talking, color-coordinated, sharply dressed young man named J. Maya. This man would come to the bus stop every day, passing out flyers, trying to get kids to come down to the club. He singled me out one day, in the back of the pack, chubby little David waiting there. He says, "Hey, big man, I've never seen you at the club. Why not?" "My mom won't let me," I tell him. "Well, oh man, let's go talk to mom." And we did. Now, my mom's a little strict and pretty overprotective, so when I showed up with a strange man by my side, she was not the happiest, standing there with her arms crossed. Jay dove right in. He said, "I want David to come to the club and join the other kids doing homework during power hour." No. He needs to do his homework here, okay? The thing about my mom is she never wanted my sister and I to play victim to having grown up in a single-parent household. We were expected to work twice as hard as everyone else, so doing our homework elsewhere just wasn't an option. "What you got now, Jay?" I'm thinking. He persisted. He said, "At least let David come down to the club and help the other kids with their homework." He said he saw potential in me and thought I could do great things at the club. After some thought, surprisingly, my mom said yes. She said I could go down to the club a couple hours a night, only after I did my homework at home, of course. Yes, I'm thinking. J. Maya, my man. He became my hero that day, and that day changed my life. The very next day, I crushed my homework at home, raced down to the club. The club. What is this place? I didn't know what I was getting myself into. So I arrived at a brick apartment building, very similar to my apartment building, I'm thinking. It literally was a 3-unit apartment building that was gutted out and converted into a Boys and Girls Club. I'm here, so I just walk in through the blue doors, see kids everywhere, scribbling away, lined up in about 3 picnic tables in what you would consider a living room. Staff leaning over their shoulders, helping them out. Straight ahead, I see a poster that would later give me inspiration and hope that I could become something greater. Denzel Washington looked back at me. He was a club kid, right? Go figure. Above that poster, I see words written across the walls in various bright colors. I would later learn these were the 6 pillars of character: trustworthiness, respect, responsibility, fairness, caring, and citizenship. What a place. I dove right in, started helping kids with their homework. Little did I know, this would become my home away from home for over a decade. Over time, the club changed me and the people around me. I saw the kids that stayed in the club, my friends to this day, went on to go to college, start great careers, start families, and just stay on the positive path. The other kids, the ones that dropped out of the club in their early teenage years, they disappeared. We literally lost them to drugs, violence, some went to prison. I'm so grateful that the club helped me find myself. Because of the club, I was able to embrace my uniqueness. Excuse me. Just like that building that we called home, It didn't matter what was on the outside. All that mattered was what was on the inside. We didn't have amenities. We didn't have a basketball court. We didn't have a games room. We didn't have a computer lab. The facilities didn't matter to us. All that mattered were the people that showed up on a daily basis with the mission of seeing us get out of Cambridge Park to reach the full potential that we knew we had and they knew we had, no matter what the rest of the world thought of us. So as for myself, I went on to play college baseball, and I selected a more academically challenging school in Trinity College because I finally realized that's who I was. So I'd like to take a moment, thank all the staff members out there who show up on a daily basis and provide guidance and hope to so many of these youth that really need it. Because of you all, I am now a proud supporter of the Boys and Girls Clubs of Metro Phoenix. In fact, I'm an active member of Connect, the Boys and Girls Clubs volunteer group that is hosting today's breakfast. Chances are you are seated very closely next to a Connect member right now. The clubs currently serve about 10,000 members across 16 sites. Each one of these members could be another me, a young person whose family needs a little boost, a safe place where they can grow and learn and become a more confident person. It is my sincere hope that today, this morning, you will join me in making a difference for these club kids. I promise you that your support can be the critical piece that is needed for so many of these youth. When I joined Connect, I committed to do what I could to help the clubs. I knew my donations and support would have a great impact on these children, on the communities, because the stories are all so real. I believe in the work the Boys and Girls Club does, and I believe in these children. But most importantly, I believe in us. That is why today I am recommitting my financial support for the Boys and Girls Clubs of Metro Phoenix. Prior to this morning, I gave my own gift a lot of thought and decided that my support for the clubs needed to reach a more meaningful level on a more frequent basis through monthly contributions. So I've already completed my own pledge card. If you've never given to the club before, I hope you'll consider starting out with a meaningful pledge today. If you are already a supporter of the clubs, thank you. And I invite you to consider a significant increase, one that fills you with joy and satisfaction, knowing that you're just another person that believes in these youth. At this time, I'd like to invite the table captains to distribute the pledge forms to each guest. Once you have completed your pledge form, please place it in the envelope and return it to your table captain. Thank you so much for joining us this morning and for your support of the Boys and Girls Clubs of Metro Phoenix. Thank you so much.
And let's thank David and give him one more round of applause. What an extraordinary journey he has had in life. What an incredibly rich and rewarding story. And I really want to take a moment to thank all of our kids and all of our adults who've come up here to speak. Besides David, Araceli, congratulations again. We're so proud of you. Aldo, Justiana, the one and only Tiffany, and of course, the one and only Marcia. So let's give them all a round of applause for an amazing morning. Okay, I know we promised you 9 o'clock. We're a few minutes late. We had a few technical problems, but we'll get you out of here as quick as we can. I just want to say on behalf of the Boys and Girls Clubs of Metro Phoenix, Connect, our table captains, board of directors, the staff, especially the kids, thank you so much for attending today's breakfast. We really appreciate it. I want to make sure that you have checked out your gift bags, because inside your bags, we have a snack, just like the kids get at the clubs, but also very importantly, there's something else inside those bags, and it's very valuable. Inside each bag, you have 2 tickets to Dish It Out. If you've never been to Dish It Out, it's one of the Valley's most popular culinary events. It supports the Boys and Girls Clubs. The tickets are valued at $75 a piece. It is an incredibly fun night out. It's a way to support the clubs. So we really would like you to join us for that night. It's on High Street on Sunday, October 20th. So mark your calendars right now. And the truth of all of this is that we can only do all of this with all of your help. So thank you so much. I hope you have all learned a little bit about the clubs, how critical you are to their success and to the success of all of the young people in our community. And I hope this is just the beginning for all of us and all of the kids. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Go out and have a wonderful day.